light, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah. Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
What is going on, Hive? Wow, that's an old intro because it doesn't even have the Joker and here we go. Got the audio coming in loud and clear. Man, happy Friday to everybody. I hope everybody's got a fun and relaxing weekend planned. Mrs. Birdie is running a half marathon tomorrow morning, so we are going to be down in the city. I'm excited to watch her. Mrs. Birdie's a beast at running. She's a beast at everything she does. Valedictorian back in the day in high school, very athletic, phenomenal cook. And I'm not just saying all this because she just so kindly filled up my water before my stream, and I know she's listening. I do mean that. But anyways, like I said, I hope you guys have a fun and relaxing weekend planned. Kick back, watch the Masters. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm your host, Birdie. I go live weeknights at 7 p.m. Central. Welcome to the Hive Mind. This is a contrarian thinking live stream. So if you're easily rattled or offended on behalf of others, you're not going to like this stream. And tonight we're going to be diving into a lot of the security footage, a lot of the things that people have talked about, but we just don't tie it to anything meaningful. So I'm going to try to do that tonight along with you all in the chat, aka the Hive. If you're not familiar with what the Hive is, it's the chat. And at any given moment, your comment can pop up on the screen. What's up, Indy Lizzie 603? And it can totally change the course or the direction of what we're talking about, which is awesome. And any super chat over $4.99 will pop up right there above my head, as you just saw. Rachel Butler 777 starting the stream off with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And says, "Hi, I'm from Deep State Moscow, Idaho, home of the Freemason. We need to dig deeper. Into the Freemason angle. I'll put a pic of the signs coming into town, complete with pentagrams." Man. Well, Rachel, may the odds be in your favor. I've said for a long time, until I started looking into this case, I really had no idea about Idaho, but I am convinced it is a portal to hell. Keep your head on a swivel out there. Keep your head on a swivel. That's for dang sure. And as you all are filing in, please go ahead, hit that like button, hit subscribe. If you want to scan the QR code, all you got to do is screenshot this, and then when the live's done, go to your Photos app, tap on it. That will take you to our Discord. It'll take you to all of the Hive's socials, and I would highly recommend you follow us on all of those, including the Discord. Please, please, please join our Discord. And if you'd like to join Hive Plus, all you got to do is tap on the link that the mods have. That's the best way to support the stream. All the streams are free, but it gives you a handful of perks like the emojis and the Hive logo next to your name, as well as once a month, we do have a Hive Plus only chat. The streams are free. Everybody can watch this stream, but for the people that choose to support the Hive on a monthly basis, Hive Plus, they will have a chat just to themselves at the end of the month. So thank you to everybody who does that. Now, let me go ahead and say what's up, and then we're going to be going into the Discord question of the day. Mom Fluff, how are you doing? Joshua Scott Griffith, Terry Dawn, Hibiscus Girl said the Discord's starting to be my fave. Yeah, shout out to Discord Dawn. That's how Dawn and I met, and we've become friends, and she's introduced me to Luna and the UFO dog, and they make quite an incredible team of mods, along with formerly known as Beck. So the Discord's how it all started. Mommy Milker, Mindy 69, Sleuther Dare, how are you doing? North Idahoan, Tara B, Stephen, UK, Kaylee, Assman, Unredacted, Anxiety Mosquitoes, Down the Rabbit Hole to Hell, Genereus, Christina, Deb, the UFO Dog, Tiffany, K-Kaz, Teary Dawn, Beverly Fike, Mrs. Birdie, Shantae Nicole Cray Cray, which, by the way, so I did get an update. Shantae Nicole Cray Cray and Mom Fluff, and You Can't Redact My Beehole. I got an update on what I was going to send you all for being the Hive Plus members. I picked three of you. Check your email this weekend. By the end of the weekend, you will have a couple of questions that I'll need you to answer, and then those gifts will be en route. I just want to make sure that I got, yes, okay. Angel Heart, Daily Bible Encouragement, Bat Sheet Crazy, Rachel, who lives near the ice wall. Great to see you. Love that username. And Miss Birdie said the Hive has the best usernames on all of YouTube. I swear to God, they do. Brandon, Ayla, formerly known as Beck, Law Cheek 79, Corgi Mama, CJ Stewart, Elf, Toss and DoorDash Luna. They can't redact my beehole. They can. If there's anything that they could have redacted, it could have been Brian Kohberger's legs. Christ. And if you haven't seen that, I will give a warning before I do show that this evening. What's up, Brian? Philly CC, Miss Lisa B, Growth Renewal, and Blue White Candies in the house, KAC, 1776. Jessica, yeah, poor Brian, Christ. Love handles, legs. Tiffany says, I can't unsee it. Monte Vermillion, what the heck? I thought you weren't on till tomorrow. Anyway, hello, Hive. Nope, 7 p.m. Central every weeknight. And then if I have a bunch of time over the weekend, I will do a random stream on the weekends. But I really do just commit now to Monday through Friday at 7. If the live streams say 8 or 9 during the week, most likely it's YouTube glitching for the time zone, because if you noticed, it switched right back to 7 p.m. before I clicked live. So during the week, if you see a different time other than 7, assume that it's wrong, and I will be on at 7. Sleuth and Sweetheart and Angel Reese, Sleuther Dare, and KS Jessen Hart. KS Jessen Art. So, nonetheless, I'm very excited for tonight. Friday nights or the weekends, especially when it's a live dig, it's a little bit more relaxed, heavy into the chat, and I have a bunch of clips lined up, but I'd really, really like to get your thoughts on this footage. We're going to start with the Discord question of the day, and this is from Duke Scribe 777. And their question is, what I keep coming back to is this. If there really was a coordinated cover-up involving multiple agencies, why would they leave the audio in the 1112 King footage from 2 a.m.? Why not remove it, as they appear to have done so with so much else? Was it an insider leak? That's a good question about the audio at 2 a.m. I started thinking about the 1112 and just how long people have had it. I have a photo of Steve G down there because in the leaked text messages, which when I say the leaked text messages, I feel like over on TikTok that was pretty well known because they were older and Brad Norton was the one involved in that. When I say leaked text messages with Steve and a TikTok creator, type a 1 if you know what I mean, and type a 2 if you don't. It might be worth pulling those up right now, not to go through all of them, but to just show you what it is that I'm referring to. Because I think most people, okay, there's a few 2s. There's a few twos. Okay. This will take 2 seconds, but let me pull them up. And as I'm doing this, Hive, does my mic sound much more crisp and clearer tonight? By chance, if it does, let me know. The reason why is one of my friends was trying to help me out with my the processing speed of my of my PC when I was streaming. And he goes, "Oh, you just got to clear the cache, free up your RAM space." So I did that, and I didn't even realize that it signed me out of everything. And I was like, "Oh, that's annoying. That's frustrating." No, but it also got rid of all my presets because the program that I run through, not that anybody cares, it's on Chrome. So I was just using a raw mic all last week, and I didn't realize it until today. So hopefully it does sound better and the volume's all good. All right. Now here's what I'm referring to. So Steve G and Brett Norton, these are their text messages. They talk about some interesting stuff, but specifically, I want to talk about this right here. Because they go through this, and I'll slow it down so that we can read them. But Steve G is talking about, we know about James Leonard. We talked with his girlfriend when he was still in jail. She's sending a bunch of photos to him. And Brett Norton just absolutely blows up Steve G's phone. You'll realize by how little he's responding at times. Not hating on Brett Norton, but it's interesting because he didn't really respond too much throughout this. Now, she's talking about this whole rabbit hole that got started on Rosie, who's the investigator, obviously on James Leonard's case. And he goes, "True, but if it wasn't for the FBI, we'd still be looking." She goes, "We're looking into the cops as we speak." But this is what's interesting. Steve, some of that audio from Linda Lane, we think we can hear two cops speaking, and only because we hear a walkie, referring to a walkie-talkie. But don't take my word on that. Honestly, only a few of us hear it. It's so hard. So we're working on cleaning up the audio. It could be anything like a TV, but that's what we're working on right now. And then Steve goes, "Look at this timestamp." She goes, "Got it. The camera's way closer and it shows the girls getting dropped off. No one was getting killed at 1:56. So I show all that because this was 2 years ago on March 1st, 2024. And so to go back to Duke Scribe's question, one of my thoughts was, did they not leak it? Did they release the audio because Steve, in those messages, did they know that people had already seen that and it would look bad? Not that it doesn't look bad in general, but it would look worse if that's the time frame that the dad of one of the victims released to somebody on TikTok, or was at least letting him know that they had it. So wait, and you're saying the 156 doesn't have audio? Am I blanking on that? Is that in the time frame that it doesn't? Is it 12:20? I know it's like midnight too. I thought that it turned on by that, or is it all the way till 2? Am I mixing it up with Linda Lane? And Monty Vermillion, thank you so much, saying, "Hey, I caught you wearing a suit again earlier. What up, my brother? A suit with a baseball cap. It's like wearing knee-high white socks with sandals." Oh, man. That's funny. That is funny. I like the look. I wear a hat so that these headphones don't put an indent into my head. If you've ever seen people that game or stream a bunch, they got indents in their heads, and I don't want to morph my brain or lose my hair in the shape of a headphone. And plus, too, that the brim of the hat keeps I have lights that light this up, because otherwise it's too dark with the lighting behind me. But anyways, thank you, Duke Scribe, for the question. That's how I'd answer that. Now let's get into some of the footage, shall we? Actually, oh, geez, I forgot. Here's the disclaimer. Brian Kohberger, new photos released. And I'm pretty sure if you scan the QR code, it just goes to that person's Reddit page. I didn't try scanning the QR code, nor am I encouraging anybody to do so, because I have no idea what's going to pop up. And thank you, Angel Heart, for gifting 5 memberships. That's so kind of you. Thank you. So appreciate that, Lost Boys. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what to make of this. I don't even know why these were released. Does anybody know the background on it? Because Luna had sent these to me earlier today, and I have no idea why. Did he get into an altercation, or what's the background of this? Yeah, how did these leak? And why are there so many? He's got a bruise on his arm here, but why are they sending photos of him? And the Fitness Pool Tech, thank you so much for the super chat. Said blessings from Texas. Love following when I see on my YouTube, probably from following a lot of Candace and Bear and Fedslop. Strong with this one too. Go Max. I appreciate that big time, Fitness Pool Tech. And we got a lot of folks from Texas that tune in. The algorithm, Texas, California, Florida, Pennsylvania, we're everywhere. It's great to see, and I appreciate the super chat and for you tuning in. White Rabbit says he's got signs of OCD from hand washing. His hands do look red in those. He looks tan, doesn't he? Does he look tan? Does he have tan lines? But anyways, that's the new photos. Now I'm going to start with this clip here with Mrs. Gonalves and the most recent interview. I believe this was the most recent interview that she had done. So let's go ahead and check this out, and then we'll dive into the footage.
Do you think Kohberger's father harbored him?
Absolutely.
What? I haven't seen this yet.
I definitely. But on the other hand, I compare, I just know how our family dynamics work. And we have a son, and there's just no way that my husband our son would have done something like this and not connected the dots, the area, the location, the car, the traveling. My husband just would have been like, if he thought that our son was capable of something like this, which our son is not, it would have been like, what's going on?
Yeah, and you'd take him in and have the discussion with the detectives and get to the bottom of it, which is what any proper parent would do.
And I felt like, as his parents, they had to at least be talking about it amongst the husband and wife. And I just know, like, our family would have been like, hey, we're just going to ask you this,
right. But address it and be truthful with us.
Yes, but did you have anything to do with this back in Moscow? So I find that hard, but I don't know. Maybe that's just a very strange family. Maybe they don't talk. Maybe they don't communicate. But even that, I can't imagine that he didn't have the thoughts going on in his own head.
So I'm going to be honest. And I try to give the most blunt takes that I can say, where, obviously there's not, I don't ever want to like verbally disrespect people or verbally abuse the parents of victims. Okay. I try to not do that. When I see this and I hear that, I fully believe that it is to do one thing and one thing only. And it's not just push a narrative, but it's to now try to get people to start looking into, well, what does Brian's dad know? It's bringing his family into the light. They were across the country. That trip was already planned. It was holiday break. How many other kids in Moscow drive a white car and went home that actually knew the victims? Brian lived in a different state. Don't forget about that. Brian went to a different school. So if your dad comes and picks you up and you go to a different college and you don't know these girls and you're older and you're getting a PhD, and also the car really didn't match, it's just a white car, your son doesn't have scratches or cut marks on him, are you just going to say to your son, did you do the murder? Did you kill him? What dots could they have connected at that point? Bethany wanted to go home for Thanksgiving turkey. That's right, Luna. Amanda says, for my opinion, I think they're really trying hard to get money for some reason. They're very, very trying. Wanda Crowell says she doesn't have a clue. Tara B says, yeah, exactly. It's bringing his family more and more into it. That's probably part of the reason he took a plea deal. Now you're going to do it anyway. The plea deal, too, it happened right after Kohberger's sister was put onto the prosecution's witness list. Everyone's saying, oh, did Brian Kohberger's sister know? I feel like in that New York Times article, that's all that her witness testimony would have been, outside of maybe if that's the sister that reported him for stealing a phone, or just other trying to build a timeline throughout his life that he's had petty theft, right? I don't know. But across the U.S., mind you, 2,300 miles. Beyond Reasonable Doubt says literally the first question she asks after her friends were murdered: can I still go home? Luna Rose says BK knows how the system works. Formerly known as Beck says they will legit do anything to remain in the public eye. UFO Dog says, I can't believe she would say that about his parents. Now, think about this. If Brian did this, let's say that in some other reality, Brian did do this by himself with a Jason Bourne timeline, no cuts on him. Forget what the experts have said. Forget what lawyers have said. Forget all the redactions. Forget all the oddities. Forget the timeline. Forget the Grady footage. Forget the oddities of everything said in the interviews, the kid glove questions. Forget all that. Let's say that in a different world that Brian did this by himself. If he's so guilty and he did this by himself, and let's say the parents didn't know, I'm sure that the parents would already feel an immense amount of guilt. They would feel terrible. They would not want anybody, especially a victim's family member, saying, oh yeah, and his dad harbored him. His dad pretty much went on the run and took him on the run back home. Yeah. It's just, so I feel like it's a low blow to his family for not having any involvement to say that his dad harbored him. How do we know that? Don't you think the investigators would have gone after? They've gone after Brian so hard on nothing. Shit, it was his dad's Q-tip, right? I'm surprised his dad's not locked up with him in there at that point. Just the fact that his Q-tip sourced it, because that's how far of a stretch they've gone on a lot of other evidence. Is as long as there's just something there. You know what I mean? And White Rabbit, thank you for the super chat, said the Gonalves have no smoke for their daughter's peers that were online dogging her out on social media. The haters were calling KG, yep, titties. They have zero smoke for Dylan, who didn't call 911 for hours. Facts. And Angel Heart 7926 said, I think Steve is much more involved than we thought. He's got a lot of secrets. I know that. It's crazy. And thank you guys for the super chats. Monty Vermillion says, here's a question. Has anyone noticed the weight loss and bony face of Olivia, Kaylee's sister? She does look like she's lost a lot of weight since then. You know, I don't really have a comment on that because I feel like the weight loss thing, stressed, public eye, I don't know. To me, I'm not saying you're fat shaming her or ex-fat shaming her or whatever it is. I'm just saying, like, to me, like, yeah, it's noticeable. You can notice. Looks very different. Whether it's healthy or unhealthy, I guess to answer your question, yes, I've noticed. I think many people have noticed. You know, but, oh, and also, people are saying she was pregnant too during that. Yeah, the deeply, what was I just going to say? Shoot, I just saw a comment fly by. I think a lot of people have probably lost weight after this. I wouldn't be surprised to go on one side of the spectrum or not. Yeah, she was also pregnant. That's right, Dunweiser. So I guess I haven't really ever seen a picture of her pre-Idaho 4 either. So that clip's wild. And now, True Crime Forensics, a lot of people have seen the video that was released 3 or 4 days ago. This is a longer video, and he's going more into depth about the 2:27 a.m. phone call. I will say that I've seen a lot of stuff now between this audio and over on TikTok. There are a lot of people piecing together this phone call and the timing of it. And they're tying it back to reports and the length of the phone call and when it happens and what you can hear. Yes, the audio is manipulated, but right, who's to say it's not a phone? Who's to say that it's not Jack's phone? Who's to say that that doesn't line up? There's a couple of dots that you can connect that I think make at least enough of an argument to discuss it. Am I saying that that means necessarily that it's guilt? No, not at all. But I think that what's important when we look at this is, okay, so this part of the timeline and what we hear can be tracked back to documents, what we've heard, and alleged alibis. Now we need to go and build off of this. One's in the chat if you're picking up what I'm putting down with that, because it doesn't necessarily need to mean guilt and that. You can have an opinion on that. I have my opinion on it, but I do think that it does help as far as, okay, if we know that this was for sure happening, it gives us a sense of who is all over at that house during this time period, which is very, very important. It's very important. And so let's go ahead and check this out. So again, this is True Crime Forensics. I will put this full screen here.
The Moscow Police Department and Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, Jack DeCore, are connected. You see, Jack DeCore's alibi is that he was sleeping at around 2:26 a.m. when he got a call from Kaylee. And that call lasted 17 minutes, which is exactly the time that we hear an attack taking place on the 1112 King Road camera. But that alibi is not for 4 o'clock in the morning or 4:20 or 4:17. Jack DeCore's alibi is for a specific time period that the Moscow Police Department is trying to cover up actively to this day. The Moscow Police Department will not release audio prior to 2:25 a.m. on the 1112 King Road security camera footage. If you file a request, you'll get nothing but silence like this. They say that it doesn't exist, but the mistake they made is that they forgot to hit the mute button when they sent the file to Jules. And because they forgot to hit the mute button, we get to listen to Kaylee's ex-boyfriend's alibi. And what I mean by that is Kaylee's ex-boyfriend said that he was sleeping around this time. So when I say Kaylee's ex-boyfriend's alibi, I mean that during this time period, he said he was sleeping. That's what I mean when I say his alibi.
That's wild. It's a great point, Allison. You're telling me that sleeping by yourself is an alibi? Right? That's such a good take, because that's a weak alibi. You were sleeping. Okay. Was anybody sleeping near you, with you? Right? Even if people were home, you could sneak out rather easily if you wanted to reference what Kelvin from Sigma Chi said. Nobody would really know if they were drunk. I'm sure I could just sneak out and it wouldn't even be that hard.
Said he was sleeping. That's what I mean when I say his alibi, which ironically started.
Okay. Birdie BB23 said, it is just as weak as stargazing. That's very true. Say you were stargazing as an alibi is also just, that battle might be lost before it starts at that point. But I agree. Sleeping, stargazing, those aren't very strong alibis, unless obviously you have a picture on your phone of the stars and the timestamp and the metadata, right? Of course, that would make it much stronger. Sleeping, you could leave your phone there.
2:26 a.m., where Kaylee's ex-boyfriend was caught trying to hide a 17-minute phone call from that night. All right? He didn't mention it on his interrogations. He had to be asked by the officer about that 17-minute phone call. And when he was asked, he said he couldn't explain it. And he said maybe in his sleep he thought it was an alarm. He pushed a side button to turn off the ringer.
Yeah, if we got 1,000 people in here, let's get up to 1,000 likes. I don't like being that guy to always say, hit the like button. I know I've been doing that lately, but the like button in the beginning of the streams is really what pushes us out. You know, all the streams are free. If you wanted to join Hive Plus and support, that's great, but I don't require it for the streams. I've never put anything behind a paywall, so hitting like and subscribe is really the best way to support this channel in the Hive.
Which means that call probably went to voicemail. And his alibi is not for 4 o'clock in the morning or 4:20 when they say the crime was committed. His alibi is for a specific time period that the Moscow Police Department is trying to cover up. And because the Moscow Police Department forgot to hit the mute button, we can hear Jack DeCour's phone ringing at 2:27 a.m. Now, people will ask, why would Jack DeCour call himself? Well, it's to create his alibi. If I'm correct, that would mean that Jack DeCour, along with multiple other males, were present at the crime scene at 2:25 a.m. And Jack DeCour grabbed Kaylee's phone and called himself to set up his alibi. This is the alibi that the Moscow Police Department is trying to hide to this day. Let's listen to the sounds real quick. Right there, 2:27 a.m. and 21 seconds. You can hear phone.
For me personally, the jury is still out on if that's a phone ringing, like meaning the actual ringtone or the FaceTime tone. I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not hating on this true crime forensics, dude. Just to me, it sounds like an alarm, like meaning it sounds like something's going off. And it's very brief. But it's like, did that get cut out? Did that get edited out? Is that manipulated? It almost kind of sounds like one of those security systems for a car to me as well.
right there, 2:27 a.m. and 21 seconds. You could hear a phone. It rings, one ring, and it gets picked up. Now, 17 minutes from the time that he called, probably around 2:26 a.m., that gives us a time period of 2:43 with one of the victims' names being called during the attack. So from 2:26 a.m. to 2:43 a.m. is exactly 17 minutes. Did Kaylee's ex-boyfriend create his own alibi and let that phone call go to voicemail to make it seem like he wasn't there? What the Moscow Police Department made a mistake with was Jack DeCour's alibi. We were never, ever supposed to hear those sounds. This case was supposed to end at this piece of paper right here. All we were supposed to know that was there was a phone call at 2:26 a.m. and it lasted 17 minutes. We were never, ever supposed to hear the sounds that we hear on here. People say that they're fake or they're added. No, it's the opposite. We were never supposed to hear the sounds. So now we have proof that the Moscow Police Department is covering up for Kaylee's ex-boyfriend's alibi. Notice how Kaylee's ex-boyfriend's alibi was specifically made or timed to happen around 2:26 a.m., the same time that the Moscow Police Department is trying to cover up. But they made a mistake with. Kaylee's ex-boyfriend's alibi is not for the 4 o'clock time period. If I'm correct, he set his alibi at a different time, not the 4 o'clock a.m. time period. So this would mean that he purposely set up this alibi, and he set it up at a time that's very suspect. It's the time that the Moscow Police Department is trying to cover up. And it hit me the other day after I found out. See, I never knew that Kaylee's ex-boyfriend tried to hide that 17-minute phone call. Okay, I never knew that. This is brand new to me. And then when I started to see the time periods, I said, wait a second. This is the time period that the Moscow Police Department forgot to hit the mute button for. We're not supposed to hear these sounds. We were never, ever supposed to hear that phone ring. We were never supposed to hear this phone ring. We were never supposed to hear the female say, oh my God, he stabbed me. It was supposed to end at this piece of paper right here, people. That's it. That's as far as we were supposed to get. All right. So when you have people saying that these sounds were added or that they're fake, no, it is the complete opposite. The sounds are real and we were never, ever supposed to hear them. Let that sink in for a second. And let it sink in that Jack DeCour never set his alibi for 4 o'clock in the morning. He set it for another time period where we hear barbaric and horrific screams. I thought we were brothers. He stabbed me. Oh my God, he stabbed me. Like I said, we were never ever supposed to hear these sounds. It was a mistake. They forgot to hit the mute button. And that's why this channel was created. Like everybody knows who's been here from the beginning that I created this program called Sherlock, which stands for Speech Hearing, Evidence Restoration, Learning and Observation Classification Kit. This was never the free anybody page. I was always more focused and I had my attention on this time period because this is a time period that I heard females crying and screaming for help on the Linda Lane camera. So then when the Freedom of Information Act files came out for the 1112 King Road camera, I continued to hear females screaming for help. So that's when I created the Sherlock program. Just want to rewind the tape real quick to the Linda Lane footage because it says here that at 2:15 a.m., Kaylee sent a text message to Jack saying that she had his vape and that he could come and pick it up at the house. So 5 minutes after that text message is made, some sounds are picked up on the Linda Lane camera. Let's listen to them. All right, there you hear a girl saying don't or no, something like that. But it's definitely a female's voice saying something. So what I hear right there is someone saying, what the fuck? Call 911 right now.
What? Hang on.
Hang
on. I got to slow this down because he plays it one time. I can't even hear it sometimes. And I guess we don't need it full screen. I can put it like this so that I can click around on it. All right. I'll go back a little bit.
For the 1112 King Road camera, I continued to hear females screaming for help. So that's when I created the Sherlock program. Haley sent picked up on the Linda Lane camera. Let's listen to them. Some sounds. Let's listen to them. All right, there you hear a girl saying don't. On the lane camera. Let's listen to them. All right, there you hear a girl saying don't or no, something like that. But it's definitely a female's voice saying something. So what I hear right there is someone saying, what the fuck? Call 911 right now. I didn't do this though.
See, that's just, I can't make any of it out.
What the fuck? Is someone saying, what the fuck? Call 911 right now. I didn't do this though. You didn't do what? Again, it sounds like somebody saying, call 911 right now. So call 911 right now, and then a female clearly screams, oh my God. And then the same male voice saying, I didn't do this though. So if Jack Decor is there, he's not the only male there. So we go over to 2:21 a.m. and 39 seconds, and we can hear. Now I hear he's got a knife, get inside. That's what's picked up on the Linda Lane camera about 5 or 6 minutes after Kaylee texted Jack Decor. You can hear people saying, call 911 right now. I didn't do this though. All right. Now, the Moscow Police Department refuses to release the audio prior to that. And as I was saying, they made a mistake and they forgot to hit the mute button.
So I'm gonna stop this video right now. If you guys want to watch the whole thing, it's True Crime Forensics. Here's the page. The reason I'm stopping it is just because I personally can't listen to the video this way, and it makes me feel like I'm not able to comment on it. This is the first time that I'm watching this one. So I I don't like necessarily being told what I'm going to hear before I hear it. And again, it's not hating on him. It's just I'd have to go back and listen to this myself. You can definitely hear stuff. It's just what is it? And so when I think of something that I feel like is a good way to do it is what Outkast just released. He put words on the screen, and I've listened to this one. This one, although it's similar in content and what's being put out, and I'm not just saying this because I know Outkast and I like the guy, because the True Crime Forensics, it's a good video. He's got documents and all that. I just can't hear it. That's all it is. But Outkast, I'm going to show this one as well. But make sure you go show True Crime Forensics some love. Hit the like button for him and go subscribe. And I'll play this because this one's wild. So that last one, you can definitely hear. It's a little bit quieter, but I can actually hear these words like. Guys, this one right here, you can hear clear as day. This one gives me a chill. I hear that. I hear she had her skull smashed, but I also hear she had a small stash. So again, go check that one out for Outkast. The only reason I say that is I think what he had done is there's bass in it, which can help you kind of hear a little bit of the voices. I would recommend headphones too. Okay. So I'm not huge on the audio stuff as far as like making sure this is exactly what's being said, because you can interpret it, you know, whichever way you want to. But I think that it's important from a timeline standpoint, the tone, the volume, the noises, that's a big deal. Figuring out, okay, even though the timestamps could be manipulated, we can go down all those rabbit holes, and we have. I still think if we were to take the video at face value at the time, it gives us a better insight into, you know, what's the general vibe going on at King at 1122. So now here's what I want to also talk about. Guys, I feel like this video here, it's been given up on. I feel like this car here has been given up on. Once people figured out that it was a BMW X6 or whatever the make and model is, I'm pretty sure it's a BMW X6. I don't remember the year of it. I feel like people just forgot about it. And I feel like it's more important. And I don't know why we don't try to figure this out more. The reason why is I swear that you could see this car turn left at 12:43. And I mean, if you were to look at this with a giant ball of light in front of it, I don't know. I don't feel like it would not be that difficult. Another car goes right past them towards King Road. Oh, Mark B is in here. It's a 2015 to 2019 BMW X6. Thanks, Mark B. Which, Mark, we have to talk this weekend. Apologize the last day or two. And that taillight at the top, again, I'm not saying that you see it necessarily all over the place. What is this car doing? Because they turn left. And from this angle, when it's back a little bit, I don't know, it looks sleeker. Left blinker. So where are we at on that car? I mean, does anybody else still think that car's sus or no? Because if not, I can move on. But that 12:43 clip has stuck with me. It's a very nice car. It's dark tinted windows, dark wheels. It's got a sunroof. And they just do a U-turn. The other thing is, I don't know, you see other cars doing U-turns too over by King Road. If they were able to, manipulate video, who knows what they could do. Beyond reasonable doubt, thank you so much for the super chat. Said this car then parks with his hazards on in the 1112 King Road video. Yeah, that I've heard that, and I do not disagree. Do not disagree. That could absolutely be that car with its hazards on waiting. Thank you again for that super chat. Now, so we don't need to spend so much time on that. I just wanted to remind everybody about that. Not 12:43, sorry, 1:15. My bad if I said that. Now, here's the other one. Here's the other clip that I want to focus on. This time frame is not looked at enough, in my honest opinion. And that is at 11:16. Okay. There is noises of a party. We know that there wasn't necessarily anything going on at the house at this time that would have been this loud, or if there was a party at the Whites, right? This time frame, you can hear sirens, you can hear screams, you can hear everything that you hear at any other time in the night. But this timestamp at 11:16 to about 11:30 is very interesting to me. So I will let this play. And if anybody hears anything, let me know and I can pause it and we can discuss it. That almost sounded like spray paint. But did you guys just hear those sirens there? Again, not that it's anything crazy, but you could hear a lot of stuff. Thank you. I'm also convinced that you see these people walking that come up here in a little bit. You're going to see some people. I don't think that they passed yet, but you'll see people cross the street that look like one of them was wearing a giant oversized jacket. Did they already walk by? And sorry, Mrs. Birdie brought me Airhead Extremes, and I haven't eaten in a long time, so I don't want to snack on camera, but they might have already walked by. All right. One of the other things that I like to do as well is I'll put it on 4 times speed. You can see just how manipulated this video is. So let's do that. Okay. Let's watch it on 4x speed. And when we see something, I will stop it. But it's crazy how much more obvious it is. Right there, a car was supposed to be passing, and they blurred that out. And so why would they do that? Jesus. I don't think they make those. This is the time of the night when you really look at it going fast like this, there are more cars that go towards the house than you see the rest of the evening. Oh no, Dawn, was it on there? I hope you guys couldn't hear me chewing. I'm so sorry. Christ. There are so many cars that are going in and around this area. That car just disappeared too. I'll put on normal speed. This car just straight up glitches off the entire camera. And boop, gone. Why? Tell us why. Why are you doing that? Oh, geez. Again, sorry about the chewing. Now I'm turning red. My bad. I swear those look like cop cars, too. They look like cop cars. If you want to tell, too, whenever the footage is being manipulated, watch the smoke. It'll just straight up pause. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, no. So I'm going to turn it back up to 4X. And it's really it's remarkable to see how obvious it is when you speed it up. Okay, sorry. I totally forgot about this. I was doing this the other day, and watch this. Oops. Okay, watch the roof of this house. And I noticed this on 4X. Do you see that? Okay, that's weird. And it's interesting because when you slow it down, it looks like it's coming from above. Oh, maybe not. Never mind. Never mind. I could have swore the other time that I saw it, it looked like it lit up these trees, these bushes more. I know those are headlights, but there is a time when I feel like these bushes light up and they graze over these bushes, almost like it's like coming down on it. Okay, and I also swear that that's a cop car with their lights on too. Like, think of how out of place this 11:16 time frame is. This 11:16 time frame is so out of place. Right? This is at 0.25 speed. I'll mute it. But where is it? I don't think it passed yet. Come on. Whatever. Now I lost it. Here comes weird guy. Oh no, that's a girl that's coming home from work. Never mind. More people crossing the street. Oh man, thoughts loading in shock face. Thank you so much for the big super chat saying re-up on the extremes for you and Mrs. Birdie. They sounded fire. Jesus. Oh, that's like my worst pet peeve too when I hear other people chew. And so to put you all through that in the Hive, I was trying my best. I started sweating after I heard Discord Dawn in the chat say, "Yep, the mic definitely works better." So, oh no, my beat. So, anyways, my point in showing the 11-16 time frame was, again, between the 116 car, the 11-16 time frame, there's a lot of activity going on. I feel like we don't really pay attention to it. I'm not saying that there's anything crazy dramatic in those time frames, but there's just as much activity going on at all those times as when the murders occur, allegedly. We just can't see 1112 before 12:25. I actually would really want to see 11 p.m. on the 12th for 1112. I feel like that would be very beneficial. And now here's what I want to show next. So I like doing this view sync thing, and I have the 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. times all synced up. The reason why is that I feel like we don't necessarily pay attention to right after the crime until 5 a.m. enough, or at least in here we don't necessarily. So I'd like to do that now. And let me go ahead and just adjust my screen so that I'm down in the open part of this. And I always enjoy these, like I said. So give me a second to get them synced. And this one doesn't start until 4:06 up in the top left. So don't pay attention to this one yet. But these two, the two in the bottom left corner and the top right, those are synced up. And Jeff H has the better audio, but in this one he does throw and he launch or overlay on it. Very Jeff H thing to do. So just ignore that. But anyways, the audio is really good. The other thing that I want to encourage people to do while we're watching this is I'm always in my own head trying to say, what does this look like? But what could it actually be? Okay. So please, I'll keep my eyes on the chat because obviously a lot of this is listening. But if you have a thought around the time frame that's on the screen, please point it out in the chat. And chat, if you see a comment that was really good, continue to alert me about it if I miss it. I just saw somebody ask in the chat as far as where is this? Where are these cameras? So most people may know, but most people may not. Or sorry, most people may know, some people may not. I will just refresh everybody's memory. So this is back in 2022. What we have is we have the bottom left corner is right here. It's looking, you know what? I'll screenshot this instead. I'll just do it this way so I can refer to it. Okay. So we have right here. We have right here. And we have right here. So one's going this way. One's going that way. And then we have here. Okay. So this is the bottom left. This is top right. Well, you guys get the point. But that's where they are. I've always thought that does not sound like a white Elantra. I very unpopular opinion. I feel like that sounds like the BMW, but again, that's just my 2 cents. They may show if the timestamps are manipulated. Again, not trying to cause a bunch of confusion, but I really think they might show an Elantra here that they have earlier in the night. That's why it speeds up and it looks like it takes the turn super quick. And then up here, just the sound of that does not sound like an Elantra. And once this gets to 406, I'm going to go towards the end of the night because we've watched these timeframes a ton. But Blue Eyed Candy also, thank you for the super chat, said, I could have swore I saw cameras mounted throughout the inside of the house itself in the stairwell area. If you ever get a chance to look for that, was that ever verified to be a fact? No, I don't think there was. I know on the body cam, one of the cops thought that stairwell light was the camera that was mounted at the top of it, but I don't believe that I've ever seen a camera inside of 1122. Have you all? Because I haven't. And Welsh Lady 6263, thank you so much for the super chat. You all rock. Everybody that's gifted a membership or donated, thank you. And Blue Eyed Candy, if they do have it, that'd be nuts because well, that would just be the biggest bombshell ever. So now what I'm going to do is I want to go to like let's go to 436. 436.04. Actually, we're going to go to we're going to go to 430. 430. for everybody too saying, oh, those dog barks, they sound like they're edited in. I mean, if you go, this is just on CapCut Pro, but if you go and, I can have one dog barking, I can have many dogs barking. Here's dogs barking when you walk inside the house. And so it's not hard to put over audio. So, for example, you guys get the point. It's very easy to do if you wanted to. Dude, I can't listen to this dog bark anymore. Here's something that I've just realized. Okay. My goal in wanting to do that live dig is that I have this confidence that we're going to be able to find something, or we're going to be able to hear something. And then I go to this place mentally where I'm like, we've said that already. We've looked at that already. We've listened to this already. And now it's like listening to this dog barking, which it does sound like it's on a loop. It does sound like it's a ridiculously long time for a dog to be barking and for nobody to wake up at least, or for Jack to not know, is that Murphy? Did Murphy get out? I know the girls are drinking. Did one of them, not let the dog in? It's just, it's tough. It's tough because there's this rotating cycle that's happening in this case. It goes from there's no information about the frats to now there's a bunch of information about the frats. There's no information about Brian. There's new information about Brian. There's no documents. There's now documents. And it's like they're circling in this way of Brian is so guilty, and then the documents drop. No, he didn't do it at all. And then there's a media push from the parents. There's the WSU lawsuit. So it's like, oh, he's guilty and they're going to sue. And then there's crime scene photos released to hammer that home. Now, because people are starting to FOIA stuff, we saw the 1112. And now we hear the frat interviews. And we get to see these police reports. And it's like, what are we looking at that's even about the crime directly? Guys, this is not the hard part now is not even necessarily figuring out, and this is my opinion, it's not figuring out who did it necessarily right now. I think that we need to figure out, like, when did this even happen? When did it happen? And people have their opinions on that, but this doesn't, the who did it and the frats or the drug angle or this, I'm like, I think that if we could just hear the timeline at the proper time and the sounds not sound manipulated and the video be clear, not have things blurred out, we could do so much more damage to the narrative and to the truth. And we could, but instead we're getting freaking pictures of Kohberger's hairy ass legs and complaints about a banana. And now how Mr. Kohberger harbored Brian. You know what I mean? And it's very frustrating. We have dove into this so much that it's like, I don't know if we can do it. I mean, we can find other stuff to do live digs out. We can go through documents. We can do this, but there's got to be something that we can do that we have not done yet or that we have not thought about. And like I said, I need to work with my mods on the FOIA request stuff, but I'm thinking it's at the point where we have to now, like I have to make an effort for locals out in Moscow to talk or whistleblow, right? Experts and attorneys, ex-detectives. Looking into this at this point, I'm not sure that we're going to have this mind-blowing discovery yet at this point. I really don't. I think it has to be all of the information that I think that we could uncover from these videos without, oh, it sounds like this or it sounds like that or it looks like this and it looks like that. I feel like we need to hear it from people that might have been there, not been there, but around that area. Do you guys agree with that? One's in the chat if so, because I constantly am looking for new angles on this stuff to make it make sense. And I'm getting to the point where I'm like, it's not ever going to. It's not ever going to make sense. They didn't put this out for it to ever make sense. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm really not. I just think that the definition of insanity is banging your head against a brick wall over and over and over again and expecting to not have a headache one time. You know what I mean? So, and Blue Eyed Candy, thank you for the big super chat. Said Birdie, have you ever wondered if Brian Kohberger is aware of all these efforts, money spent on FOIA recs to figure out his case, and he sits in silent? This case is so intriguing, yes, infuriating, and consuming. I agree. It's unless there's something massive up Ann Taylor's and Kohberger's sleeve. If that dude's just choosing to sit in prison at this point and not say anything, I don't know what to say. He's not defending himself. He's got to be aware. How does Ann Taylor or any of his attorneys, anybody on that team, not telling him like, hey, Brian, there's a giant portion of the public that believes you didn't do this. Let's release a prison phone call. They've already leaked photos of your love handles and you walking around and pacing around in your cell. And, I don't know if you know this, but yeah, your hairy legs are all over the internet right now. He's not even saying anything. You can't tell me that there's not a statement that he couldn't work with a team of lawyers to just come out and say, I'm innocent. I didn't do this. I've been wrongfully convicted. Please continue to look into this. Demand the truth. This is terrible, terrible PR. And I get quote unquote strategy. At what point is it not strategy? They're just choosing to not do it. I don't get it. I really don't. And like a gag order, you could talk with a gag order. You just can't talk about certain things. And the whole investigation being finished and all that, I get it. I do. I get it. But I'm saying it's been a theme even before it's gotten to this point. So if anybody knows anybody out there that or is connected to somebody, I'm willing to work, on their schedule or whatever they'd feel comfortable with doing. If they'd like to come on the live stream, if they want to pre-record, if they want it to be a phone call, I don't really care how they want to do it, but it's getting to that point. you know? And again, don't take this as me being negative. I'm not negative. I'm just ready for the damn truth to come out. That dog barking going over and over again, it was my last straw. I can't do it anymore, Hive. The dog barks, it's like I've listened to that so many times. I know what it is at this point. Like, I know what it is, and I've seen this stuff so many times. And Blue Eyed Candy had asked, when will Jeff be back on? I don't know. I feel like that was I would love for him to come back on, but I don't know if he's going to want to. And I'll just bite my tongue on that. That still kind of pisses me off personally, which again is just my opinion as to how that went and how it was handled. Because that was somebody that I feel like could have really been a good asset, and I'm working on that. I'm kind of slow playing, getting, I don't know, not his confidence, but getting people's confidence back in like, hey, yeah, we have a big time expert that could be talking. And I don't know, because if you put yourself in his shoes, I mean, it's a second live stream. He's excited to talk to us. And then we just have people that just destroyed him because the G family reached out after the first time he was on the interview, which to me tells me something that's like, wow, they're watching, they're paying attention. He's saying they have questions. And instead it's just, he's compromised. But if you go listen to both interviews, he says the same thing. If anything, in the second one, he's repeating what he's saying. We had more clarity, and we wonder why we don't get anywhere. He hasn't spent that much. Whatever. I'm going to crash out on it. Just know, like, I'm working on it. I'm going to try to get him back. Okay. I'm going to try to get him back. So anyways, Hive, I have a very early morning tomorrow. As I said, I got to support Mrs. Birdie in her half marathon. So I'm very excited to go cheer her on. So I'm going to be getting to bed here shortly, but I hope everybody has a great weekend. Rest up, relax. I will be back on 7 p.m. Monday evening. Cheers, everybody.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life.